What's going on, everybody? This is Al from NCAA 06 Revival, and today I want to discuss the future of this dynasty and going forward. After a couple days, of playing some games with Furman and reading some comments and just giving this whole thing a complete thought, a do-over of sorts, I have decided I'm going to close this dynasty for several reasons. Now, this may disappoint some of you, and I'm sorry if it does, but hear me out. The first reason I want to do that is because I've been preaching for years, ever since I started Revival. The first thing you should always do is to adapt to your talent as best as you see fit. Now, the more talent you have, the less you have to bother with that. But when it comes to running dynasties with an FCS school or any other team that only has a couple good players on either side of the ball, you need to adjust to that talent. Now, going into this dynasty, I was determined to run the I option offense and to run the 4-4 defense and to run the Kevin Kelly special team system. One of the three made a whole lot of sense. I think offensively, we've actually done a pretty good job of giving the ball to either my quarterback or my halfback 95% of the time. I think it's worked pretty well. Defensively, I've done a terrible job, and I think that's just my fault for trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. If you look at our defense here, now, our defensive line, it doesn't really matter if I go 3 down linemen or 4 down linemen. There's just not enough there. But the back 7/8 is something we need to look at. I have 2 okay outside linebackers, nothing at middle linebacker, which is just, again, dumb on my part for going with a 4-4 and try to stick with that. But if you look at some corners here, now I got 3 bad ones. I mean, they're technically all bad, but at least they have some speed. It's my fault for not playing this kid right here, And because of that, along with, I got the same type of guy, free safety, and a pretty good strong safety for Furman standards. I should have been running nickel pretty much the entire time. So I feel like I've just been really dumb and trying to force something that just isn't there. Special teams wise, I've had some second thoughts on a few different things. Like, first with onside kicks, I think onside kicks are great when you convert them. But the problem I personally have with onside kicks is you have no control over it. I can make the perfect kick. I mean, the perfect power, the perfect bounce, everything is perfect except the defense still gets it. I can't control who gets the ball there. So I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense for me to do onside kicks. Now, there could be some games where I could have 3 converted. That would have been awesome. But then I'll have some games where I won't get any. Again, it's out of your control. You just got to get lucky. I hate to say it. You got to get lucky on the bounces. So I want to avoid all that, and since I still have bad kicking, I can force fair catches at least. Now, the reason why I want to force fair catches is because somebody made a good comment, and I should probably trust my skills more, and I agree with them. I have a pretty good instinct on defense on how to attack certain offenses, how to go after them, especially against passing attacks. I can try to bait quarterbacks into interceptions. That's what I've done in the last video, and it worked pretty well. It's almost best for me for the other team to be on offense a little bit. The more plays they have on offense, the more chances they may turn the ball over. They may fumble it for whatever reason. We may hit him hard and he may drop the ball of some sort. Or we could get an interception. That's just as good as an onside kick. At least you can somewhat control that a whole lot better than you ever could with an onside kick. Now, the couple other things, like the 2-point conversion stuff, I may just do the single point. I don't know. I haven't really made up my mind on that. That's not overly important. Punting, that's going to be situational. But as you can tell, 2 out of the 3 phases of the game, I haven't done a really good job. And I think it's just completely my fault for getting my own advice that I've been handing out for the last several years. Okay? The second reason why I want to switch things up is to do with, and we can go to it here. We go to coach options and we go to coach prestige. Now, I talked a little bit about this a couple videos ago. I have a 6-star coach prestige, and that's because I replaced Notre Dame and Charlie Weiss. The team you replace, that prestige you're going to get from them on the coach side of things. You won't get it on the program side. You'll go back to a 1-star school, which makes a ton of sense. I don't think that's halfway fair, to be honest. To go along with that, as much as I can't stand Notre Dame, they probably need to be in Division One. So the next time I run an FCS Dynasty, I am going to take over or replace Temple again. I feel very unpatriotic if I replace Army or Navy, so I don't want to do that. So Temple's our only choice. I love the independent schedule. I want to keep that so you can adjust your schedule as best you can, and you can make it harder and harder as you go on. So I'm going to stay as an independent. But I think I made a mistake on the coach proceeds / changing or replacing Notre Dame. The third thing is the contracts. I've been also giving this some thought, and I think it was a bad idea for me to turn them off. In my Yale Dynasty, I had them turned on. I only won 6 games in 2 years, and I still made it through the second season. So with your contracts turned on, you have more pressure to win. I like that. Plus, I just enjoy seeing at the end of the season which teams come contacting you, who want you to come and coach their program. Contract extensions, stuff like that. I enjoy seeing some of that. So I think it makes more sense. I think you'll have more fun if you always have contracts turned on, even if you plan on staying with that team forever. The fourth reason is, well, this isn't really a reason, but the changes I'm making is actually going to make things harder for me. Because I've decided, again, I'm closing this dynasty and I'm going to start a new FCS dynasty and I'm going to pick a different team. I don't want to go through Furman preseason a third time. It's unfortunate that I had to do it with this team because I think their uniforms are really cool. I like their location since they're close to where I live. That's all well and good. But I want to do all of this new stuff with a brand new team. And I will reveal that in the next video. You'll see all that in the preseason video there. But the team I'm going to pick, and I've already picked it, I've already made up my mind which one I'm going with, it's actually going to be a whole lot harder. If you think about it, I'm going to go back to a one-star coach prestige. That's going to hurt recruiting. And contracts, that's going to make things harder. I could get fired after a year or two. It's possible. And I'm not going to say anything else. Anything else I may reveal a little bit who that team is possibly. Anyway, you'll definitely see that in the next video as to why some of these changes are actually going to make things harder for me. Which is even more of a challenge, but at least it makes the most amount of sense. So again, I'm closing this dynasty because I think it's just, I don't want to be a hypocrite to what I've been given advice out to for years. Adapt to your offense, adapt to your defense, and who knows, maybe after year 3 or year 4, my recruiting, my incoming classes may come in, and it may want me to, or force me to run the I option. So you still may see some of that. Who knows? I haven't looked at the other team I'm going to take over. I haven't looked at their roster really hard. But I know I'm going to adapt to what they have. Now, speaking of that, what I'm going to do, offensively, I could just run a grab bag type offense a la Lane Kiffin circa Alabama from a few years ago, when he was just trying to give it to Amari Cooper every other play. I could do that, but I want to run an offense that's a little more conceptual. So it's an offense that's highly adaptable to about any roster. It sticks with the same 10 or so concepts, but you could still get the ball to your best players, regardless of the personnel and of the position. So this is going to be sort of like the UCF Dynasty, where the first 3 years I ran a pro-style offense. It worked pretty well, and it just naturally transitioned to a spread offense. That's just sort of what my recruiting classes gave me. And I want to do the same here. I think just in real life and in these games, if you want to run a particular offense, you can recruit to that, but up until that point, by all means, you got to change your offense a little bit if you need to in order to score more points. Same on defense. The new team I'm taking over, I don't know if their best 11 on defense is a dime package. It may be. I may be running a ton of dime next year. I don't know. Or in the next season. We'll find out. But until then, I hope all of these changes make sense to you. I promise this is going to be the last time I'm starting over a dynasty. I mean, I'm getting tired of it. But I think all these changes makes the most sense. And again, I want to stay true to my word of what I've been giving all the advice to you all this time. So I hope all of this makes sense to you. And I think you're going to enjoy it a whole lot more down the road anyways. And besides, my offense and my defense will stay a little fresh anyways. I think this is actually going to be good for people who are dead set on liking a particular offense or defense. You may find an offense that I'm running one particular you just may not like. Well, it's possible the next season I may have to switch it up a little bit depending on my talent. So you may like the next season's worth of offense or defense. So it's going to change up a little bit here and there. So I think that's going to be refreshing, and that I don't have to truly worry about what schemes I'm going to run from year to year. All that will happen naturally. All right, guys, thank you for all your patience, all your support, and I look forward to starting my next Dynasty, which I will hopefully post tomorrow or the day after. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.